who have joined. A very good evening, and I'm going to share my screen in a bit, so you should be able to see our presentation. Okay, so financial reporting. Before I even get into the paper, what your exam structure is like. First of all, what is financial reporting? Who can tell me? Who has any idea about what financial reporting is about? From the words, from what you've perhaps known about it before, any clue on what this paper is about? Feel free to use the chat box to unmute yourself and then communicate, okay? Let's make this interactive. I know it's written as a webinar where I'm supposed to be the one talking all the time, but it's more like a meeting. You're most welcome to give me your inputs. So what is financial reporting? Any clue about what this paper is? Of course, I'm going to teach you, so you don't need to have so much of a clue, but any idea for now, for the start?
Financial reporting.
Mm-hmm.
The idea I have is that it entails the preparation and presentation of financial statements.
Thank you, Derek. You're absolutely right. It entails, Derek has told us that it's about preparing and presenting financial statements. Is there anyone else who wants to add anything to what Derek said? Do we agree that that's what the bigger part of the paper is? That's what it's about, preparation and presentation of financial statements. Okay, so like Derek said, and like I agreed, it is about preparing and presenting financial statements. But if I break it down to the absolute bare minimum, reporting, when you're doing reporting, it means you're communicating something, isn't it? Reporting is a form of communication. And what are you reporting on? You're reporting on, it's called financial reporting. So you're reporting on the finances of a company. And as Derek said, you do that by showing different users, different people who are interested. You do it by showing them the financial statements of a company, which we may have all heard. Things like profit and loss statement, statement of cash flows, statement of financial position. Tony is telling me it's reporting on financial matters done by entities using international financial reporting standards. Thank you, Tony. That's absolutely correct. So when we are talking about reporting, when we're talking about communication, communication requires a language, isn't it? Just like when we speak in a language. So the language of financial reporting is going to be through the international financial reporting standards, like Tony has added on, okay? So what are the international accounting standards? You may have heard of IASs. IAS stands for International Accounting Standard. IFRS stands for International Financial Reporting Standards. Okay, so it's basically different standards that guide us on how we can communicate in our financial statements the different matters. So this paper is basically about looking at different standards and combining them to form a set of financial statements, either for individual entities, single entities, one company, or for multiple entities. You may have heard of the word group companies, a group of companies where one company owns the other or is associated with the other. So that's the whole idea behind this paper. In case you have done a paper called Financial Accounting before, FA, it is in the knowledge level. So that is basically, it's a level before this. It's the foundation of financial reporting, okay? You do learn the introduction to financial accounting in that FA paper, and this paper builds on your knowledge from financial accounting. Or if you've done it, or you may have got an exemption from it. I know many of you have exemptions. So I am hoping we do have the FA knowledge. It's advisable to have the FA knowledge because this is a continuation of the financial accounting paper. And this paper, the paper that builds on financial reporting, is going to be in your level 3, which is called SBR, Strategic Business Reporting. So we learn a few standards here in SBR. You look at the same standards we've learned in this paper in more detail. And of course, you learn other standards which are not part of the FR paper, okay? So the progression line of this paper is that it starts at FA, Financial Accounting. We move on to FR, and then you move on to SBR. That's how those 3 papers are interconnected. So Sorry, excuse me. What is your paper structure like? It's for those who are new to doing a skills level paper aside of law. If you've never done any paper which is not really multiple choice type looking, then this may be the first paper where you see a section C. Generally in BT, MA law, and FA, there is no section C, it's just section A and B, and you have multiple choice, multitask questions. But in this paper, we're going to have a section C. If you've done PM or any other paper with a section C before, this is not new to you. So section A is going to have 15 objective test questions. When they say objective test, it's not entirely multiple choice. You don't have 4 options always. They could tell you that fill in the figure, fill in match, mix and match things and stuff. You'll see as we progress, okay, in doing our revision. So you have 15 objective test questions, each question worth 2 marks, and that gives you 30 marks in your section A. Section B, you're going to have 3 mini case studies. So you can see on the screen 3 scenario-based questions. Each scenario will contain 5 objective test questions related to the scenario, of course, and then that's worth 2 marks each. So that's another 30 marks you get in section B. Section A and section B will be from any part of your syllabus, okay? Section C, you're going to have 2 questions. One question will always test you on the preparation of financial statements, preparation and presentation of financial statements, either for single entities, meaning one company, or for a group of companies. In case you've heard of the word consolidation, so it could either be a consolidation question. Consolidation is simply accounting for groups, okay? So it could either be a single entity or group companies. That's going to give you 20 marks, one of the questions in section C, where you have to prepare a SOPL, statement of profit or loss, or a balance sheet. If you're familiar with the old word, we now call it statement of financial position. So you could be required to prepare any of the financial statements of single entities or groups. The second question in section C is going to be about interpretation of financial statements. So if you're given a set of financial statements, you obviously think of yourself as an investor or an individual looking at the financial statements. What you are going to do from those figures that you see is try and interpret how well or how badly the company has done, isn't it? So for that, you need to know how to interpret the content of the financial statements. So that's a topic we learn. You may have heard of it, ratio analysis. You use different ratios, calculate profitability of a company, liquidity, and of course, you then. So the focus here in financial reporting is not really going to be on calculation of ratios. You will be asked to calculate a few ratios, but not the big marks are not going to come on the calculation. The big marks are going to come on the interpretation. So how are you able to analyze the ratios? So let's say you could be given a 4 to 5 out of the 20 marks, you will be given 4 to 5 marks for calculating certain ratios. And then you have to analyze the performance of the company, okay? So that's going to be your second question in section C, worth another 20 marks. And that makes your 100 marks for the paper. So that's your paper structure. Now, what is the syllabus about? Broadly, like I told you, it's just about the end result is to prepare and interpret financial statements. But when we are preparing financial statements, there are a lot of things that we put in the financial statements. We put in assets, we put in liabilities, incomes, expenses. But how do we know what is an asset? What can we put under liabilities? What can we call incomes? What can we call expenses? At what value can we record our assets and liabilities, and when can we record it? All that is given to us in different standards. And so we're going to first look at the individual accounting standards. And then towards the end, after we've exhausted learning the standards, we will then do the bigger questions of preparing and interpreting financial statements, okay? So the small standards will work up towards reaching the end goal of being able to apply all those standards in the preparation of financial statements for either single entities or for groups. So your syllabus, the first part of your syllabus is about the conceptual and regulatory framework for financial reporting. You may, if you've done FA, you already know what this is. Otherwise, of course, we'll look at it in class. So it's basically it's a guide that is useful it's useful for preparing financial statements, for assisting a lot of people who are quite lost in how to deal with things in accounting and stuff. We'll see it as we reach the topic. Then part B of your syllabus is the big part, accounting for transactions. So how do we account for non-current assets, tangible non-current assets? How do we account for intangible assets, impairment, inventories, and so on? So all those things that you see in that list are different accounting standards, different IFRSs, different IASs, and they tell you the rules, they tell you how to deal with things related to what the standard governs. And then, so we'll first learn these standards individually. And then when we come to part C is, okay, not really part C, but when we come to part D, we're going to use those standards that we learned to prepare single entity and consolidated financial statements. And then moving back to part C is what I was telling you is about interpretation. Once financial statements are prepared, we need to know how to interpret them as well. And lastly, part E is common to all ACCA papers. Employability and technology skills is just testing on how, these days, your exams are on the computer. So you will be required to answer questions on either an Excel kind of functionality or a word screen. If it's a theoretical question like interpretation, you type out your answer on the word screen. If it's calculation, you will have an Excel kind of sheet pop up and you have to calculate on Excel and stuff. So that's part E. It's common to all ACCA papers. Okay, it's not something individual to FR. So that is how your syllabus structure looks like. Now, what about workings? Students often ask me, do we need to show workings in our exam? For section A and B, you do not need to show any workings because it's auto-marked. No one's going to look at your workings. They're just concerned with your final answer, okay? So there's a scratch pad in the exam, which I don't really advise to use if you're not very fast with computers, but you are entitled to get rough paper, scrap paper. So ask the examiner in case they've not provided. Scribble down your workings for section A and B in a very disorganized way. I mean, I'm not really encouraging you to be disorganized, but all I'm saying is that you don't need to be neat and organized because no one's going to see that paper. All they're concerned with is the answer, okay? So do that and just put the final answer for A and B. But for section C, you must show your workings, and you must show your workings within that spreadsheet kind of layout that you'll see on the screen, okay? So many students do is that they get overwhelmed with working on the spreadsheet, and they try and put figures in their calculator and just put the final answer. You are not going to get marks for that. And you see, once you get used to the spreadsheet software, it's actually very time-saving because you use formulas like if anyone has used Excel before, there is nothing complicated. Don't get worried. But you don't need to be a pro at Excel. All you need to know is basic addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, okay? So in the cells, you just put the formula and a lot of things are auto-calculated for you. And the good thing is, if in case you entered a wrong thing in one cell and you have, you don't need to go back like you would have to if you were using a pen and paper. You don't need to cross everything and recalculate it. Because you've used a formula, everything auto-adjusts. So it's a very, very useful tool, but you must practice in advance. So students, one of the challenges that students in my previous classes have had is time management because of not practicing on the right software. So they were very comfortable doing the answers on pen and paper. In class, we start with pen and paper and then we slowly progress because I want you to first understand the concepts. And the second part is understand how to do it on the screen, okay? But then some students never want to practice on the screen until the final exam, which is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because trust me, you may know everything. You may know how to answer the question, but you will fall back because of time, because you didn't practice how to do the things on the computer, okay? So make sure as part of your revision, as part of your study plan, you aim to use the computer. If you don't have easy access to a computer all the time, MAT at school, there are a lot of computers available. So whenever you have time, please go there, ask someone at admin to set up for you a computer, and you're absolutely allowed to use them for your practice, okay? So I don't want to hear any excuses that I did not practice on the computer for so and so reason. You have all the resources available. It is up to you how you're going to use the resources. Well, it's just a funny thing here, as beginners in accounting, one thing that always excited us is that we wanted our balance sheet to balance. So in the past it was balance sheet because it had to balance. Now it's statement of financial position. So a lot of students would spend so much time trying to make their SOFP balance, but the examiner has clearly said that there is no mark available for your balance sheet balancing. Okay, so don't worry. Of course, someone may say that, but doesn't that mean that our balance sheet is wrong? It could be that you've missed out a thing or two, but then the reason why they've emphasized on that is that time management is equally important. So do not spend a lot of time trying to force your balance sheet to balance if you've not yet answered other sections of your exam. If you have time, of course, you can go back and look at where you went wrong, but don't spend too much time on any one question. FR is generally a very easy paper to pass, but then the problem is that the questions you'll get, especially in section C, because the cases are quite long and you have to do a bit of reading, people have a challenge of time management in this paper. I have had so many students come and tell me that, Miss, I knew what to do, but I missed doing a 10-mark question or a 12-mark question. And just think of how bad that is. You literally know how to answer the question, but you can't because of time. And you can only get better at this by practicing under timed conditions after a certain point in time. First, during the first few months, we're going to focus on knowledge, gaining the knowledge for the paper. But after we reach towards the end of the syllabus, I expect you to also keep an eye on the time that you're taking to solve questions, okay? Because that's also a skill that you're going to develop by practicing. So don't wait for the exam to think that you will finish it in 3 hours, if you've not practiced. Please practice under timed conditions. But again, that's all for a later revision stage. I'm just giving you general tips at this point. Another challenge students have is with the interpretation questions, the ratio questions. They love, I know as students, we love calculating ratios because they're pretty easy to calculate. But this paper is, like I told you, the big part of the marks are on the interpretation and not just the calculations. But of course, that's on me to teach you how to interpret the right way. So don't worry, we will see that when we get there, okay? Now, what general tips can we set aside for the paper? First of all, you must devise a routine. So if some of you have heard me before, you were there yesterday for my tax webinar, I have said the same things. Devise a routine. All of you know your individual schedule best, okay? Whether you're a full-time student or you're a part-time student, you are working somewhere, you have a family, you know your schedule, you know your time. So you are the best person to make for yourself a clear structure on how much time you're going to devote to the studying of the paper and when are you going to start. And especially those people who work, I understand that you're burdened with your work because every day you're going to work and then you're tired by the end of the day and stuff. But please don't use these people who have jobs. They generally get leave towards the exam period, and then that's when they start reading. Please don't do that. Please. I understand it's challenging on weekdays, but even if you read 15 minutes a day, but you read from literally, when are we starting class? Tomorrow? No, day after tomorrow. If you start reading from day after tomorrow till the time we reach the paper, you will not need to devote a lot of time daily to your reading. 15, 20 minutes. If it's a good day, you have more time, you can spend 30 minutes, maybe more on the weekends. And even if for some reason you miss a day or two, you'll not really lag behind, okay? So please start early. Full-time students, you have no excuse. You have all the time in the world. Just use it wisely. Sometimes when you have too much time, you end up using it badly as well, okay? So don't get caught in that trap. You must devise a solid plan for yourself. You may be doing other papers alongside FR. So plan your papers well and make sure you have ample time. And the best thing is to start early. What I generally suggest for students to do is that every time we finish a topic in class, if you can, go home and then redo that topic yourself, recalculate all the examples we did in class. But I know class ends late. So in case you're tired on that very day, at least have a target that by the end of the week, I will practice by myself whatever I've learned with my tutor in class so that the concept sticks. Okay, don't wait for a very long time to go back and look at things, or don't start reading in the end. Then past papers. Of course, you must do a lot of past papers. You must do a lot of questions in general. You have a lot of questions available on the study hub. I am going to do a lot of questions with you in class, and also the revision kit. This is something I say for all ACCA exams, not just the papers I teach, that the key to passing ACCA is doing the revision kits thoroughly. So if you attend class regularly, if you follow the examples, you do them when I tell you to do them in class, and you understand the concept, you don't even need to read the course book. So we do provide textbooks. Once you pay for the fees, then you're going to get the BPP textbook. But then again, I provide my own notes for every topic with my own examples. And if you're comfortable with those notes, you don't even need to go read the course book. If you want to do it as an additional guide, or maybe there's something you need more clarity on, you can definitely have a look at it. But don't spend a lot of time reading the textbook, because what matters is solving questions. Okay, so your main focus should be on understanding what we learn in class and then applying it to the revision kit questions. Of course, revision kit will be at the revision stage, but if you can practice questions on the study hub and whatever I share with you, make sure you're on point with those. Then, of course, the concept of group study is quite popular. I know people love group study, but one thing I have to say is that do not make group study your main study technique, okay? Because you can't rely solely on group study. You must sit down individually to understand things. And then you can go and, complement the individual studying with group study, but it should not be your main study technique. Definitely not, because generally there's one person in the group who's very smart and everyone likes to join that group, and that person is the one doing the explaining. You sit there saying yeah, you just listen to him and you don't calculate. That's not going to help you. Okay, so first do it yourself, and then maybe when you're free, when you on a weekend, you can go and just see whether your concepts are solid by revising them with your friends. Short versus long-term memory. Like I already mentioned, do not start reading towards exam time. We need to start early. Okay, starting early is the key to having concepts stick in your mind. If towards the exam, the last few days you're reading, your brain's going to be stressed out. You're not going to be able to absorb so much inside. Okay, so start early. There's something called technical articles and examiner reports. So technical articles, on different topics, for all ACCA papers, you'll see these. On different topics, there are articles on the ACCA website. So in case you feel that you need more insights on any particular topic, you can go and read the technical articles. Examiner reports. After every exam session, the examiner picks out the difficult questions, the questions that most students found difficult from the latest exam session, and he answers them, and he also points out the mistakes that students made. So these are very important. Okay, he picks out a few multiple choice, he picks out one section C question, and he picks out a few questions from section A and B, the ones that students failed most in that exam session. And remember, we're all students, so perhaps we think alike, isn't it? So go and see the kind of mistakes people are making, and that will help you know what to avoid and how to do it the right way. Okay, but this is a tip more towards the revision time, because right now we still need to focus on getting the knowledge. We don't know anything in the paper yet. And then the rest of the tips apply towards exam time, so I'm not going to talk about them right now, but I will re-emphasize them when we reach the revision phase. Okay, and then that's it from my side. I've overspoken. Now I want to hear your views. What concerns, what queries, what questions do you have regarding this paper or anything to do with FR at this point that you want me to clear or you need clarity on? So feel free, the ball's in your court now. Use the chat box. You can unmute yourself and ask me questions. I'm here to answer them. Also, the good news, I don't know if you guys attended my my tax webinar yesterday. If you did, you know that. But then The good news is that FR has the second highest pass rates in the skills level exams, excluding law, of course, because law you can choose your own time when you want to do it. But yeah, FR is the second best passed paper from PM, tax, FR, audit, and FM. So it's not really a hard paper, and it's a paper that students enjoy a lot because, as you see in class, I don't want to tell you that because you say you're the teacher, you're obviously going to say that. But no, you'll see in class, it's fun. Once if you follow well, it is fun. But one thing I want to discourage is that please don't miss class. I say this for all my papers, because there's a reason. Once you skip a class, you miss a link to a lot of things. Our classes are 3 hours. I hope you're all aware of that. One class is 3 hours, and by the time you've missed a 3 hour session, you've missed quite a bit. And usually maybe it's a continuous topic. You've missed yesterday's class, and today I am on the same topic in other concepts, so you're going to be lost. And you've taken up this commitment. Unless it is an absolute emergency, please do not miss class. Okay, give your studies priority. I have people telling me, oh, I have a wedding, oh, I have this. I've been a student before I've been a teacher, and never, and I repeat, never in my entire ACCA journey have I missed one lecture. And in my time, we didn't even have this online. We didn't have recorded lessons that we could go back and refer to. But, if you really want to do well in something, then you need to show your dedication towards it. So don't take this online things for granted. Some people, just if the onliners, there are some students who sit there and keep the class open, but they're not even following. Or some people miss it and say, oh, I'll catch up with the recordings, and they never do so. No, please make sure that you attend class as much as possible, unless it is a dire emergency. Okay, otherwise this should be priority. Amog, no, I have not. Mary, where can you find the examiner's report? You will find it on the ACCA website. Just go to FR. Every subject has its thing there. I'm sure if you explore the ACCA website, you'll see it. Or maybe if you don't, later on I can share the particular links. Also, there is an application called the Student Accountant or Student App. Hold on, let me check it on my phone. Yes, it's called the Student Accountant. On Play Store, you can download the Student Accountant app, and you'll see everything related to a particular subject. So on top there, all the subjects are there. And then when you click on FR, you can see FR syllabus, examiner approach, technical articles, examiner reports. You can find all that for every subject. Okay, so you can download the app as well. Any other questions that we have?
Yes, please.
Yes, tell me.
How are the classes structured? Like, do we have physical classes?
Okay.
Is it a hybrid thing?
So the classes it's going to be a hybrid of physical as well as online. So when we are in class, the thing is, even right now, I was supposed to be there physically, but because of a difficult situation, I think, in the country, the elections and stuff generally. So this time, the first phase of classes has been online, because even for many students, it's hard to reach college at this time. So the first phase, when I talk about first phase, the timetable has been shared on the FR group. So in case you're not on the group, first of all, get yourself added, talk to admin. For whatever paper you study at MAT, there are groups. So get yourself added. The timetables have been shared. For FR, we're going to have classes running from Thursday until around, I think, 2nd or 3rd Feb, if I'm not wrong. But in between, I alternate. I'm telling you my timetable, but then I teach tax and FR. So it's not like all days is FR. One day there'll be tax, one day there'll be FR. And then after that, I will be there physically for class towards end of Feb until around the end of March. And so in March, by the end of March, we will complete our syllabus. And then in April, there will be revision classes. Okay. So that's how the structure is going to be. When I'm there physically, I will be teaching whoever, of course, if you come to the class physically, we're going to have that. And in the same class, I'll be running a Zoom meeting like this, where people who want to join online will be part of the same class. So that's how the structure of the classes is going to be. But for now, till Feb, the beginning of Feb, it's going to be online only, okay? I reshare the timetable. Okay, I will reshare that, okay? On the group. No worries, Stacey. I'll share that in after. I hope you're on the group though. Raj, on average, how long does it take to finish the syllabus of FR? I can tell you we're going to finish in March. So our speed, my personal speed is based on the timetable that is set by MAT. We know that classes are 3 hours. So if you're learning with me, you're going to finish the syllabus by the end of March. And if you're learning by yourself, that depends on your own speed and your pace and how much time you're able to devote. So that's, again, a matter of individuality. But then with me, we're going to be finishing the syllabus at the end of March, towards around 20th March there. Okay, but we are studying for the June session. Yeah? I mean, what I teach you is applicable to the March exams as well, but I believe the March exams will be in the beginning of March, but we finish our syllabus in the end of March. Shifra, how shall you get my notes? So as a math student, you will be having an account on their LMS. LMS is the learning management system. If you don't already have one, you can get in touch with admin. And also there's the MAT Abacus YouTube channel. Follow that channel. There are videos on how you can even self-enroll yourself on courses, even without meeting admin. You can enroll yourself on a course. You can pay for the course if you're if you don't want to go to school physically to do the process. Then you will have, once your account is created and you've paid or you've enrolled for a particular paper, you will see that paper's what do you call it? Okay, in a funny language, you'll see a box related to that paper. It's not really a box, but a folder. Yes. So you click on the folder, and then I will upload daily notes. There will be links. Whoever wants to join online class, there will be links to the online classes, and I will upload my notes in somewhere there. You'll see that when you get your account on the LMS. But in short, you get the notes from the LMS. Okay. Samsung. Okay, someone's not Samsung, not your name, but I'm answering Samsung. Are the weekend classes a continuation of the weekday ones, or are they separate? They're a continuation. Okay. So it's not like we have a weekend batch separately from the weekday batch. It's all a continuation. Stacy, if you enroll only for revision, then what you'll get is, of course, my revision classes, and you will get the revision kit. You will not get the course book, and you will not get the course notes, the tuition notes. You will only get whatever I share as revision, plus a BPP revision kit and the recordings of the revision. That's what you get for revision. Okay. Any other questions? Any other doubts? So I'm looking forward to seeing you all. I hope, I know for the start, we'll have to work with the online, but when I come there physically, I personally like having a lot of students in class physically. I understand some of us live far, some of us can't make it, but if you can, if you're nearby and you can, please do make sure, I request, I can't force you, but do try and attend physically. It's always fun to have a big class, and I move around checking your answers, and I see what you've done. With online, it's a bit difficult. Of course, I encourage you to type out your answers in the chat box, but it's still fun and nice if you can make it physically when I'm there. Shifra, your first class, tomorrow I have tax, I think, Shifra, and then Thursday. Tomorrow is what? Tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Yeah, I think I have tax tomorrow, and then Thursday will be our first FR class. Yeah. Dorothy, no, I think you see the books are given free when you join the course. I don't think MAT provides books alone. So, but you can still confirm that with admin. But as far as my knowledge goes, I think it's like a free thing that the school gives once you enroll for the revision. they do give you the BPP, which is an approved learning content provider. So they give you the book as free when you enroll for the revision. So yes, Thursday is going to be our first class, and it's going to be online. The link will be given, and yeah, as once we get ahead with class, like I told you, I'll be uploading the notes on the LMS, and then you can follow on from there. If you've already paid for the paper, then request admin for access to the textbooks. The textbooks are e-copies, so it's good because your paper is also in an e-format now, so you get used to all these things at an early stage. So if you've paid, go ask for the book. They will, it's a process, or unless you've studied with MAT before and you know how to access the books and stuff. Okay, another thing Stacy said, I mentioned at the end of every paper, and the examiner picks out the hard questions and goes through it. When you were doing MA and FA, you had different questions for different students doing the same paper. Do they get questions from all, or does FR set the same questions for students doing at the same time? So what happens is that, yes, many times the multiple choices are mixed, but he picks the average. There are going to be different questions. Some students will get the same paper, some students will get a different paper, okay? And he picks the hardest from all those questions combined. So that's how it works with that. That's how their algorithm works. But in general, it's the key thing is that it's usually the questions that students find most challenging in an exam sitting, given the different papers as well. But it's not like every individual student gets a different paper. I mean, you could have 20 people getting the same paper, and then another 10 getting another paper, or something like that, okay? But MA and FA and all the multiple choice, all the entirely multiple choice questions, it's usually entirely jumbled. Yeah. Is SBR a continuation of FR, or it's different? It's more of a continuation or more because it builds on FR and you learn new standards, but it's set as a different paper. And that's in level 3, okay? So we're right now on level 2, which we call the ACCA calls it knowledge, skills, and professional level. So SBR is in the professional level. We are now on the skills level. But yes, it is like a continuation of FR. Shifra, you don't know about the LMS? I've briefly told you about it, but then if not, see, there's a video. Okay, there's a link. I'm going to share. If you're on the group, Shifra, I'm going to share that link on how you can self-enroll yourself on the LMS. So look at that link and try. And if you still find it challenging, or if you stay near MAT or you're passing by MAT anytime, then just ask someone at admin to help you also access your LMS. You have to create an account. You put in your details, you create an account and stuff. So yeah, so you can either do it yourself, or I'll share the things on the group. I'll share the timetable and this video on the LMS. So those are the 2 things I have to share, right? Yes. Otherwise, if you're completely stuck, reach out to admin. Okay. And when we're doing online, please, I expect all of us to be active in class, just like you're asking me questions now. Please do ask me questions, use the chat box, unmute yourselves, and feel free to speak, because we're going to have an interactive session, okay? I'm not coming here to talk to my screen. And don't sit behind your screens just because I can't see you. When I tell you to do a question, I expect you to be doing a question. So come to class with a calculator on the side, with a neat book, because I don't want, there was a time, there was a student of mine. He came in with a very funny thing. I don't even know what he bought to write. Sometimes you buy samosas in those brown paper bags and stuff, and like it's like whatever he found for the day, he just picked, and that's where he was doing some of his notes. Please, you have time till Thursday. Get a proper book, so that topic wise, when we're solving questions, you solve them in an organized way, so that even when you go back for revision, you can have access to clear. I mean, the notes, you don't need to write the notes because the PPT is going to be there for you, but definitely the answers, it's good to be organized when doing it, okay? Mary, do we only access the notes after paying 100%? So the first 2 sessions, I think, I think you're allowed to access the first 2 two classes for free, and after that you will have to pay. I am not sure whether you have to pay 100%. I can't really say on that. Maybe there is a staggered way in which you can pay, but I think the best people to answer that would be Admin Mary. So please check on with them. Amog, will the future lessons be on the same link or you'll get a new one? You will get new links. We will post them for, I think for the first two sessions. The first two sessions are open. The first two sessions will be posted on the group. But from then, even not from then on, even right from the start, if you have access to the LMS, all links, every day there will be a new link, and every day all the links will be posted on the LMS. On the group, I think they will share only one or two links, because after that you must pay to attend class. And then from the second class onwards, links will strictly be on the LMS. So whenever you want to attend class, you have to log into your LMS and then click on the link, and even the notes will strictly be uploaded. In fact, even for the first two classes, I am not sending any notes on the WhatsApp group. My notes are going to be on the LMS, okay? Yeah, thanks, Stacey. You helped. I should have just read your answer there. Does the rank depend on sitting-wise or paper-based? Sitting-wise or paper-based? Raj, please phrase that in a different way. What rank are you talking about? Pius, you're welcome. Are you talking about? Okay, this is something I usually start with at the start. And I don't know if you've ever been to any of my other classes before, but then I usually ask my students, what is it that you're aiming to get? What is your target mark for financial reporting? Tell me your views on that. How much is our aim for the paper? Yes, Stacey, that's right. So what are we trying to get? What marks do you want to get in FR, guys?
70 plus.
70 plus. Who said that? I missed seeing who said that. Who was that?
It was me.
Martha. Oh, okay. Martha says 70 plus. Amog, pass. So you're telling me 50. Amog wants to hit 50 on the dot. Martha says 70. The rest, how much do we want to get? 60. Oh, Ellie is very precise also. 60. Others? At least 80. Tony says at least 80. Then says Amelia says a 60 would be good enough. And Roger is saying, I mean the overall rank, like is it based per sitting or even the previous effort sitting is compared to determine the rank? No, it's individual sittings, Raj, individual. Stacy says 80, Dorothy says 85. Okay, our targets are increasing, Anyone having a higher target? Lillian, 80. So far my highest is Dorothy at 85. She's aiming for the most. Others, how much are we aiming for? Samsung. I'm calling you Samsung, but that's the name I see there. Samsung's aiming for a 95. We're at 95 there. Vraj. Well done, Vraj. That is exactly what, except the first part, okay? I mean, except the last part, I'm not really agreeing on that. But yes, let's aim for 100%. Look at Ellie there. So stunned at that. We are aiming for 100. None of you has, I'm assuming, none of you has studied FR yet. None of you has seen the exam that the examiner has set for you yet. And aside of Raj, everyone is telling us that, examiner, you can keep, starting with Amog. Amog says, examiner, keep your 50% to yourself. I don't even want to see half of your exam. Just give me half of the paper and I'm sorted with that. And the rest, 60% is saying, I don't even want your 40 marks. Just keep them with you. I'm here only for a 60. Is that the kind of attitude you want to go to an exam with? Even before seeing the paper, you don't want the marks, huh? In my class, whichever subject you learn with me, in case you've studied with me previously, we never aim to pass, okay? I want each and every one of you here entering class with the aim to excel. Because if we're going to go with the mindset that we want anything below 100, we are going to prepare in that case. Let's say we want a pass mark. You know, most students say that I just want to pass the paper. That means that you're only going to put in enough efforts for you to get a 50. And yet, if you keep your target high, your preparation will be in that line. And even without seeing the exam or without having studied, or even after studying, why do you want to aim for anything than the best? It's not impossible. Okay, I agree. Maybe 100% seems impossible for some, but we can't rule that before doing the exam, before studying, before doing our own preparation. Okay, and I want prize winners. If you are not aware, or if you're aware, ACCA at the end of each exam session, when results come, they release the highest performing student in every session. Yes, every sitting. I think this is what Raj was trying to ask me. Every sitting for every subject, they release the students and the mark that has been the best in the country. And also there is worldwide rankings. Okay, so in the country, the ACCA body of Uganda will award you with a certificate and will recognize you. MAT Abacus recognizes you. They hold for you a nice grand party. We had that last time, and all the prize winners were invited to a nice event in the evening where they were awarded, and they do this all in every sitting after the results are out and after they've tallied and got the prize winners. And if you've had a world rank, you get your world rank certificate as well. And why is that important? It's not just a certificate. I'm telling you this as a student. I don't want to, I'm not boasting, but I aimed for this as a student, and I saw results. I tried my best to do well, and I got these certifications 5 times. And trust me, I didn't have to go looking for a job. When I became an ACCA affiliate, I remember that 2 or 3 big companies there, that at that time MAT used to publish our photos as in the new vision. So they came to MAT and they said that we want this person to work with us. And I got a call from MAT saying that, are you interested in a job offer from such and such a company? So these things matter. You will not have to go looking for jobs. Good jobs will come looking for you. Even if you're working somewhere already, you can use this to negotiate a better position, a better pay, or to move on to a better job. Okay, so don't take it lightly. Don't just aim to pass. If you have the right aim, you will work towards it. Okay, and these things are very, trust me, do not underestimate the power of a rank. It's very, very useful, is what I can tell you personally as a student. Okay, and so Braj, let's aim for 100, then on God. No. Nothing on God. Everything on me to do my part, and the rest on you to do your preps. Okay, God is very busy dealing with other things. We live in quite a chaotic world. So let's reduce the burden on God and do our parts well. Okay. Among the recent sitting, I've not yet got the composition of all the results, but I think I've seen close to a 94 or something, if I remember well. Yeah. So I don't know about the December 25 yet. We had internet issues. We're still seeing the results. You will see them. MAT is going to put out the results, of course, and you will hear of the prize winners. We shall tell you. Okay. And I'm hoping to see a lot of prize winners. The rank is not just one. There are many world ranks. Okay, in Uganda, yes, they'll be the top performing, the best in Uganda. But in the world, they give you, even if you're, they give a lot of ranking in the world ranks. So please aim for that, is what I can say. Okay. Any other queries or anything else to share? Or we call it an evening. So on Thursday, we're having our first class, 3 hours. It's not 1 hour. It's just the webinar that was 1 hour. Be ready. to see me for 3 hours from Thursday onwards. And if nothing, I shall see you guys on Thursday. If you're attending tax, I shall see you guys tomorrow. Some of you tomorrow. I know some are doing multiple papers. And yeah, we shall call it an evening then.
Hello.
So can I, yeah, someone has something?
Yes, I wanted to inquire.
Yes, Derek.
I'm so sorry. I'm inquiring about tax because you also teach tax.
Yes, Derek. I do.
Me and my colleagues, we were trying to study the tax, and we are trying to do the tax paper in March.
Okay.
But then I think we're having second thoughts on doing the paper in March because we are basically out of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to inquire.
Mm-hmm.
Does somebody told us that every after financial year in the UK, the tax changes? Does it change a lot?
No, it's not changing a lot. There are certain percentages that are. Have you read any tax as of yet? Have you done any
Yes,
class?
we're basically like on the 15th topic, partnerships.
Okay, so no, not much is changing. Sorry, guys, we're on a tax discussion, but I'm going to answer this for him and any of you in case that's useful, in case you've not done tax before. So, no, Derek, it's not big changes, but certain percentages, like in capital gains and other things, some percentages have changed. Okay, so I would suggest if you're not feeling prepared, don't do it in March because tax is a big syllabus. I know that. And if by the time right now we're almost towards the end of Jan, and exams are in the first week of March. If you're not confident, don't pay and waste your time. Give it till June. Nothing, it's not a lot of changes. There are changes, I will tell you, there are changes in the Finance Act 25, but then they are not very big, like an entirely new thing coming. It's just the rates have changed a bit in certain topics and some reliefs here and there. Otherwise, you'll be fine if you do it in June, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for the evening? Okay, then I wish you all a good evening and I will see you when I see you. Hi, Kay. Wow, I'm here saying bye. I'm getting a hi. Kay, tell me, I'm here. Thanks, Stacy. Yes, what are you asking? Ciao, Malcolm, ciao. Good evening, Amog. You're welcome. Is there any topic we can go through before I come? You can. Okay, I'm going to tell you the first topic I'm starting with is IAS 16. I'm going to put you right through the first non-current assets. If you've studied financial accounting before, it's not going to be new to you. If you've got exemptions and you've forgotten, you can go, yes, Raj, NCA, non-current assets. Okay, that's going to be our starter. And you can definitely start by reading that before we come on Thursday. Technically, the first thing should be conceptual and regulatory framework, but that's quite theoretical. And I'm going to give you some notes of mine, which I want you to read. So there are going to be a few theory topics, which are very easy for self-study as well, which time and again, I will tell you that I expect you to read this. And then if you have any doubts, you come to class and ask me, rather than me just reading for you plain blank theory there, which is a waste of time, because the last topics that we do are going to require me to devote a lot of time to that. So where I believe you can read and then just come to me with your doubts, 1 or 2 topics are like that. I'm going to tell you that, okay, as we progress along. You're welcome.